Hello and welcome back to the Mompreneur Show. I am so excited to have you here. We have an exciting topic today. Today we're going to talk about how action creates clarity. This is something that has steered me for the last several years of my life and honestly has led to a lot of breakthroughs for me. I'm excited to break it down for you so that you can start implementing this in your life as well, so you can start to see what fruit comes out of this. So let's dive in. All right, so put yourself in this scenario if you aren't already there. Let's say you have this brilliant idea and you're like, I want to do this thing more than anything else. Maybe it's start a podcast like this, or maybe it's start a business, or you want to start a mom group to support some other mamas, or whatever it might be. Go back to school, whatever it is. And you're like, I want to do this thing, but you feel stuck. You get stuck waiting to start, and you know that it's what you want to do, but you keep waiting for this far and distant someday. And what does that someday look like? That someday is when you have everything together. You have a clear plan, you feel prepared, you're ready to launch, you have all the steps laid out, and you feel like everything is neat and tidy with a little bow tied on the top. Well, I am here to tell you that while that sounds great in theory, in reality, it's a terrible plan. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Sorry to say that, but it is true. It's a terrible, terrible plan. That is the fastest way to guarantee that you will never reach your dreams. You will never feel like you have it all together. You will never know all the stops to get from start to the end. You're not going to know all the steps. And you will never get started if you are waiting to feel ready. It's not going to happen. Ready is an elusive thing. At some point, you're going to have to decide that ready feeling for you is defined as being sick enough of where you are now and ready to just take the steps towards building the life that you want to be living. That's what ready is. Ready is, I'm done being here and I'm ready to go here. So let's go. Let's dive in. And can I tell you the honest truth? You have to start moving to get that clarity that you're waiting for. It doesn't happen while you're sitting there still. You have to take bold steps and be willing to just show up messy. That's what I'm doing. I'm showing up messy, y'all. And the thing is, when you show up messy and when you're willing to start out being bad at it so that you can learn to be good at it, you're going to learn along the way. You're going to get that clarity. You're going to learn how to do things better. You're going to learn what steps to take, what steps not to take. It's a learning curve, but you're never going to learn those things unless you get started. You have to be willing to just jump in and start building. Why? Because action creates clarity. You can't steer a parked car. You have to get moving so you can get clarity on what works, what doesn't, what is it that you like, what don't you like, what are you good at, and what are you not good at. Get moving and you will get that clarity. This has been the story of my life. I live what I preach here. I have done a lot of things and I have taken a lot of bold action to get to where I am. And sometimes that has looked like falling flat on my face. Sometimes that has looked like telling people, hey, I'm going to do this next big thing. And then I realize as I start going that next big thing is not what I want to be doing. And I think that it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to start something that you think is going to be awesome and get going and be like, this isn't as awesome as I thought it was going to be. I'm actually not going to enjoy doing this. So instead of following this path, I'm going to try this one. And then I'm going to try this one. And that's okay. And maybe for a season, you need to do one thing so that you learn the skills and you learn the lessons from it. But then you're going to move on to something else. And that's okay too. It's okay to do one thing for a while and move on to another. It's okay to start something and realize it's not what you want. And it's okay to change your mind. We need to normalize changing our mind because it happens and it's a good and healthy thing. You are going to learn what you're good at. You're going to learn what you're not good at. You're going to get that clarity because getting moving is going to give you clarity. We have planned 3 different businesses in detail that we never started before we ever actually started our first one. Like, I'm talking full business plans because I was going to business school at the time. So if you had a business idea, you wrote a 30 to 40 page business plan outlining everything. And it involved a ton of market research and a ton of all these other things. We had 3 of those that we never launched or started. Then we finally started our first one. And it was amazing. You guys, it was amazing because we got going. Then it turned out to be not the right thing for us. And so for a lot of different reasons. And so we closed that business. Then we started another business. And that was amazing too. Until I reached a point where I knew inside of my heart that I was being called onto a new thing and a different thing. But everything that I've done up until this point made me more valuable. And I learned so much more. I honed in skills that I'm able to use now in those previous days. I was able to take lessons that I've learned and figure out what I want to do in the future. And it's going to be the same thing for you. You have to start taking action. You have to start doing the things. I also want to speak to those of you who have started things and then failed or changed your mind or decided that quitting was the right thing to do or that moving on was the right thing to do. Maybe you've gone from owning a business back into working in the workforce and you want to own a business again. There is often a voice inside that tells us that we have failed before. And I use that word freely with myself. Some of my business ideas in the past were failures. Some of them, if we had done them and if I listened to my husband, we would be millionaires by now. Listen to your husbands. Maybe. And he likes to remind me of those often. But anyways, but honestly though, like if you are in a place where you are like, I have tried the things before and they didn't go the way that I wanted them to, and you're feeling like a failure, can I just tell you that you are not? You are not a failure. That was just a part of your story. It's not the story. That was part of your learning experience. It wasn't the end all be all of what you're going to learn in life. You may have had a rough start. You may have tripped up. You may have fallen flat on your face. I don't know what it looked like, but I can tell you that you are not a failure. You have so much inside of you and so much good to give. And what this world needs is your gifting poured out. We were driving through the Badlands of South Dakota a couple of months ago from the time that we're recording this podcast. And we were doing these cards that came from Focus on the Family that my dad had given us. And it was a part of this road trip pack that they gave him. And he was like, well, I know who to gift that to. So he gave them to us. And one of the cards asked, if you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be? And from somewhere deep inside of me, this answer welled up that if I could have any superpower in the world, what I would want to do is to be able to make it so that every person on this earth was walking out the call of God on their life. Because can you imagine what this world would look like if every single one of us was doing what we were created to do? If every single person was walking in their gifting and walking in their calling, what would we be able to accomplish? I think it would be beautiful. I think it would be amazing. And so here I am pouring this out to you and saying, please, please listen to that Spirit of God inside of you that is urging you to step out in your callings and in your giftings and is urging you to walk in what you were created to do. I tell my daughter this all the time, and I believe that it is so true. God is an amazing creator, and he does not make mistakes. And when he finished creating you, he looked at you and he said, she is perfect. She's exactly who I created her to be. She is exactly what this world needs, and she will fulfill the call that I have placed on her life. She is perfect. She is perfectly equipped. She has everything she needs. She's lacking nothing. And if your Creator says that you're perfect, then who are you, or who is he, or who is she, or who are they to say anything different? Your Creator looked at you and said, she is good, she is perfect. And that is all you need to know. So walk in that knowledge. Walk in the knowledge that you are perfectly gifted, perfectly equipped, perfectly designed, perfectly created to be exactly who you're meant to be. You lack for nothing. That doesn't mean you don't have things to learn. That doesn't mean there aren't skill sets you need to hone, but you have the ability to learn those things and to build those skill sets. So walk in that knowledge, walk in that fullness, and go for it, babe, because I am here to tell you that if I could have one wish in this world, it would be that every single one of us would walk out the call of God and the giftings of God in our lives and pour out what we have inside of us to offer this world, because I think that's exactly what this world needs. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so honored that you would spend this time with me. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you next time.